Keep that applause going for Jennifer. Come on. Jennifer.
Good evening. I wanted to tell you the story of the greatest lie ever told. When I first moved to Southern California, I had just gone through a bad breakup, and my friend and I went running along the Santa Monica Pier, and the running made me hungry. And based upon the size of the people that I saw in LA, I thought everybody kind of looked hungry to me, but I actually wanted to do something about it. And so we went, I was actually craving junk food because the junk food kind of filled the hole in my heart. And we went to a couple cafes, and they had the word detox in the window, and I thought I'm more interested in putting food into my body than what was going to come out of it. So we decided to go to a grocery store, which turned out to be a grocery store / health food store. And when I walk in, there was a lady giving samples, and she said, "Would you like a sample?" And I said, "Of what?" And she said, "It's called alternative." And I said, "No, let me stop you right there. I'm interested in some junk food. I'm having a really bad time lately." And she goes, "Well, we have cookies." And I said, "Well, now you have my attention." So I tried one, and then she told me they were gluten-free. And after moving to LA, I didn't really know what gluten even was. But I can tell you this, when it comes to cookies, gluten matters. So we were walking through the aisles, and we stopped because I saw some very good-looking professional soccer players standing at the end of the aisle, and it was the first time I actually was attracted to another man after my breakup. And I was so nervous, so I just grabbed the first thing next to me to pretend like I was shopping, and I grabbed a pregnancy test. And my friend yells, "You're pregnant?" And then the professional soccer players just sort of ran away. And I like to think they were practicing, but probably not. And then I went and bought some lunch, and I was buying what I thought was a normal amount of food for lunch. And then the cashier decided to editorialize the transaction. She goes, "Wow, you are buying a lot of food. You must be really hungry." And I said, "Oh, well, I am eating for two." And I said it really loud. And then I noticed that the soccer players were walking out through the parking lot, and I thought, oh, here's my chance, find someone new. So I decided to follow them, or as my friend called it, stalk them. And I noticed that one of them had dropped this big thing of toilet paper. So I picked it up, and I was going to bring it back to him, and then I thought, this is probably the closest thing my body would ever come to a soccer player is this toilet paper. So I may or may not have stolen it. And I think we all know the answer to that. So I'm walking through the parking lot with my food and my toilet paper, and this lady gives me a weird look, and I said, "Oh, I'm detoxing," which seemed to be an acceptable answer in LA. And another lady overheard, and she goes, "Oh, you're detoxing, but you're pregnant." And so now I'm caught in this web of lies in a strip mall parking lot, which is not at all how I imagined my day going. And then at this point, one of the soccer players notices that I have actually stolen his toilet paper. So he turns and starts running towards me, and I stop because I'm like, whoa, that's my fantasy, has come to life. And then I realize, oh yeah, I'm a criminal. I better leave. So I jump into my friend's car, and we drive away. And my mother calls, because she's been kind of worried about me because I've been going through such a bad breakup. And she goes, "How are you doing, honey? Did you do anything special today?" And I said, "Yes, actually, I picked up some special toilet paper," which my mother thought was some kind of slang term for a sexually transmitted disease. And I said, "No, I don't have an STD, Mother." And she said, "Oh, really, Jennifer? Then where did you get this special toilet paper?" And I didn't help my case when I said I got it from a bunch of professional soccer players. So my mother thought I was a slut, so this conversation is going great. But to my surprise, she was actually happy because she thought I was moving on and that she might get a grandchild who plays professional soccer. And I thought, well, let's keep the pregnancy light going. So I said, "Well, my mother, have I got some news for you?" But then I said, "No, Mom, I'm just kidding. I'm really not pregnant." But to her credit, she kept the lie going. Because my mother lives in Phoenix, where my ex-boyfriend lives, and she ran into him, and he asked how I was doing. And she said, "Well, Jennifer is pregnant, and the father is a professional soccer player." And she said he looked visibly sad, which makes that the greatest lie ever told. Thank you very much.